Hey guys, this is the Ultimate Warrior here, and I am back with another lesson from AX Anime Expo 2017 video. And today's lesson is that post-con depression is real. And if you don't know what post-con depression is, it is exactly what it sounds like: depression after you leave a con. Now, this isn't my first time experiencing post-con depression, as this isn't my very first convention, but what I realize is the dynamics or the magnitude of which I experienced post-con depression from leaving Anime Expo. It differed quite greatly compared to the local cons I went to. And if this video is kind of like all over the place, I'm sorry. This is a topic I've been wanting to make for a while, but I could never really organize my thoughts in it. So it's either I try to have the perfect script for this and the video never gets done, or I can just try to free wing it and see what happens. So I'm free winging it. But yeah, I wanted to quickly talk about post-con depression. I want to say that this just based on my experience, everyone's different, but I would say you're more likely to experience post-con depression, with Anime Expo in particular, if you aren't from the area and you live in a more conservative type area. Let's say you're in the Bible Belt and your views are like more liberal, or you might not have family or friends that share your interests, or you don't really gather with people who like the same things as you, or you may even be LBGT. Just keeping it real. Like, I find, at least from what I've personally seen, you're more likely to suffer from this, at least to a greater magnitude, than someone who kind of lives in Los Angeles and is, blessed to be able to live there and be 10 minutes away from the con. So, like, as opposed to someone in like a rural area or an area where the anime/gaming scene isn't as active, or at least there aren't many open events for it. So with me, yes, I greatly experienced a post-con depression. Thankfully, it didn't last long, but I still remember just feeling sad on the last day, especially because I had to leave early because I didn't want to miss too many days for work. So I left that Sunday, and I didn't get to experience the last day. And I could just remember going back to my hotel room, and I was just deeply depressed, knowing that I had to get on that airplane back and just leaving Los Angeles and going all the way back to upstate South Carolina. That was a very, very hard thing for me to do, because, like I said, it's not my first con, but just seeing just the different culture out there, and just seeing Los Angeles is someplace I've always wanted to go and live at, but it's too expensive for me. I can't really make it a place that I would want to live at least not with my current finances. And even just being on vacation and having to go back to my normal life, it sucked. When I was there, I got to be, and this video looks like this video is going to be longer than I anticipated, so sorry if it's not going to be a short video. But just going from being the factory worker, or the plant worker, and don't get me wrong, I currently love my job and I love what I do, but I do it every day. It's not often I get to go to Anime Expo and be a variation of Abraham von Helsing from Cold Realized Guardian of Rebirth. It is not every day where you can go and fight bioterrorism by being a BSAA member, from the Resident Evil series. Sorry, I've been like really thirsty lately. But it's not every day where you could dress up like a mad scientist and wear a mask around town with like rubber gloves and stuff. And just look like this awesome character that people give you compliments on or whatnot. And it's not every day you get to be part of the Negaverse and dress up as Nephrite from Sailor Moon. Okay, to be fair, I didn't do that at Anime Expo, but I had my cosplay ready just in case I wanted to. Never got around to it, but it was a possibility, and I could have if I wanted to. But it's not every day you get to go to a Persona 5 panel and sing the Last Surprise theme song and hear like your favorite voice actors and voice actresses like talk in a panel and just goof off and stuff, and you just be around people that share a common interest that aren't from like a Facebook group. And there's nothing wrong with those, but it's so much more intimate, in my opinion, when you have people that you can physically be with and discuss these things with and sharing like a common interest, and you won't get looked at silly or anything. So that was my personal experience. And seeing a lot of these people lived in the area, and like you're the one who has to go back. Obviously that wasn't the case for everybody, but I think the couple I interviewed, you can check that video out from Anime Expo, they lived in the area, so it'll be easier for them to go next year. But for me to have to go all the way back to South Carolina and go back to this my night shift job, yeah, making that transition back was, I wouldn't say very difficult, but it was difficult enough just to kind of have to de-transform. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, because this was my first time flying on the airplane. This was my very first vacation that I said I was going to plan out by myself, or I should say major vacation, where I was going to go this so far away. And I'm happy about the experience, but I got depression from it. And I imagine, a lot of other people have depression from it too, but they might not have someone to talk to about it. So this is just a heads up. And even if you live in the Los Angeles area, yeah, you're likely still going to get post-con depression for one of the reasons mentioned above. Probably you don't have anyone to talk to about it, or you might not have friends or family that's sharing your interests. So this is just kind of my lesson. The post-con depression there is real. How much you experience of it is really just going to depend on you and your life and how involved you are with other like-minded people, or the circumstances in your area. So if it hits you, don't feel like something is off or like something is seriously wrong with you, because I assure you it's not. I even heard one person talking about having to go back to like rural Kansas when I was in a Premier Pass room or a Premier Fan room, and just leaving this area. So I felt his pain, and Kansas is obviously closer to Los Angeles than South Carolina is, but they're both still far away, and they both can still be pretty rural, just depending on where you are. But I don't want this to be like a total downer video. I think I've demonstrated that post-con depression's real. Or not demonstrated, but I've told you that. But I'd feel really bad if I didn't tell you ways to deal with your post-con depression. And again, this might not work for everybody, but what's currently working for me is, well, plan your next trip to Anime Expo. That's my first and foremost thing. Plan another trip, As soon as that one ends, I believe the tickets, at least I think, for Premier Pass goes on sale immediately. I think within like a couple of days. So yeah, get that planned out early. Don't spend all your spending money from Anime Expo 2018 and save some of that money, and that way you can automatically have your premiere pass or whatever for 2019, for an example. Or you know what, go ahead and, if you can afford it, buy those tickets, and then have a plan. Having a plan is very important because it gives you something to look forward to. Like, have a way to save. The 52-week money challenge is an excellent way of doing that. And it gives you something to look forward to and to help building up your funds so you can have fun again next year. And cosplaying is great and all, but I don't think I'd want to do it every day for a living. Oh, who am I kidding? I would. But, sometimes it's good to save, and, it's good to just take a step back from cosplaying. That way you can appreciate it even more and come back cosplaying with a greater force, if that makes sense. For instance, I like candy, but if I eat candy every day, I'm going to get sick of it. So, just keep that perspective in mind. Eat as much as I want to eat candy is probably not a good thing. If this is your career, then that's something different. But for the casuals like me and you, who are most likely watching, then yeah, just consider this break, and then to look forward to the next year. Or you know what? While you're waiting and saving up for next year, you could be looking at your local cons. I have a local con that happens in August called the Electric City Comic Con, and it's completely free. And I cosplayed there after Anime Expo. It's a much smaller con, and you get for me, I got noticed a lot more. Like, I had people taking my pictures, like the paparazzi, and putting them on like the internet and newspapers. So that was another shock. But yeah, look up cons nearby your area. Make a little trip to go there while you're planning. And if the funds aren't all there for you to plan immediately for Anime Expo, but you want to go, don't give up hope. Like, I set up a vacation fund not too long ago, specifically for Anime Expo, or future Anime Expos. And I haven't been able to put what I want to in it because I'm doing the double reverse money challenge. I'm doing that, but my funds have been tight. My car, which I don't even drive because I don't have a license, but my sister takes me to work in it, that's kind of less, it has like problems, and I had to pay to get the car fixed. I'm still paying to get the car fixed because if it's not one thing, it's another. I had to get my precious Cookie, that's my cat. She's shown up in my earlier videos if you want to take a look at her. She's obviously bigger now, but I had to pay to get her spayed, and she was pregnant, so that added like an extra cost. I kind of felt bad, but it is what it is. I couldn't afford food for kittens, and she just had a litter. But even in the midst of stuff, if you have like bills to pay or unexpected circumstances, just don't give up hope. Just if you have minor setbacks that are kind of preventing you from saving weekly or monthly or bi-monthly or however it is, don't give up hope. Keep trying your best to save and earn money the way you can, and hopefully you'll be able to put more money in it, and so you can pay for your trip to Anime Expo while you're waiting. That's why it's good to plan early. Have a year. At least start planning about, like, as soon as the next I'm getting so excited, so I'm messing up. But as soon as Anime Expo ends, be planning for the next year. That way, if you do have unexpected circumstances, it's easier to deal with that earlier on, especially if you have a nice little savings. So yeah, definitely planning and saving your money, it gives you something to look forward to. And that, for me, I think that's the strongest thing that wards off post-con depression. When you have something to look forward to, then you'll have less time to be depressed because you're working harder to achieve your goal, or you're focused on achieving your goal. So it's, for me at least, blah. Okay, I'm getting too excited. But for me, it's harder to multitask. So I like to try to focus on one thing. Am I going to focus on my depression, or am I going to focus on next year? And it's easier to focus on next year and much funner to anticipate the goals that I want to have, concerning raising money for Anime Expo. So yeah, at this point I think I'm going to get long-winded. So if you didn't want to read all this or listen to all this, long story short, post-con depression is real, but you can fight it by planning your trip to Anime Expo next year by saving, or you can look into different cons and remember that too much of a good thing can possibly be a bad thing. So with that being said, if you happen to like this video, or you're a fan of video games, ultimate games, drink testing, taste testing, toys, reviews, stuff like that, gaming, then feel free to check out the rest of my channel. And if you happen to like what you see, then please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright guys, talk to you later. Bye.